Oh, yeah. Like it or not, Barrett Brooks, it's a Wednesday on the middle. It's a Wednesday edition on the middle, in case you're not ready for it. I don't know that I'm ready for it, but we're going to do it anyway, regardless. I don't care if you don't want it. I don't care if you don't care, because we're going to do this for the next 2 hours. And, you get to this point in the middle of the week of a slow week after a loss that I think a lot of Eagle fans didn't see coming.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Right. They didn't see it coming. They don't really know how to react to it. And now you got on deck the dog meat of the NFL in the New York Jets. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to kind of get excited about. It's another game where you're thinking like, dude, they had better win this one. Right now, Eagle fans are sitting there thinking, trying to figure out a way, is there a way they can lose this game to the Jets? That's really what they're worried about right now.
You are absolutely right on that, man. Because if they lose this game, the whole city will go into a shambles, because we have nothing left except besides the union to hold on to grasp on to as far as sports. Nothing else. Not even Temple basketball is getting me riled up, man.
Don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about Temple basketball. They play LaSalle tonight, and they had better win by double digits, or I might just bail on them too.
See?
Yeah.
The only thing we had going is the union, so it's tough, man.
And that's Sunday afternoon, Barrett, at 3 o'clock, I believe, 3 o'clock or 3:30. And I'm wondering, depending on how things go with this Eagles game, maybe about 3:30, if things aren't going so well, I might flick on over to watch the union. You know what I'm saying? I need something positive in my life.
Something, man.
Yeah.
What is going on, man? There is no logical way we should lose to the Jets. Logical.
Right.
There's no way.
But the NFL isn't logical. We all know this.
That's the only problem, man. We were thinking, we almost had Robert Saleh.
Yeah, the coach Saleh. Yeah, I was actually
hauled
interested
ass
in him.
And left.
Yeah, I was interested in him He was intriguing to me. He seemed like one of these no nonsense guys. That isn't going to take anybody's shit. Kind of like your boy Dan Campbell up in Detroit. Neither one of them are doing well at all. So you knew Jeffrey Lurie wasn't going to be interested in him because he wants offense. He doesn't. Well, he doesn't want these defensive coaches as head coaches.
You're right about that, but I'm gonna tell you this, man. If he came here, it'd have been different, because, like it or not, this team has talent. The Eagles have talent. They have enough talent to win and play better than they're playing, especially better than we saw on Sunday. Yeah. They have some key positions where they're pretty damn good, man. I mean, really good, actually.
Right.
Like the offensive line, man. This offensive line is unbelievable. Like it or not, Nate Herbig, he's going to be a guy that's probably going to start this weekend. But he could, with him taking it, there's no question about that.
He's going to start?
Well, who else could you put in there?
What, is Kelsey going to miss the game?
Well, I mean,
because he came back and finished the game.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about a right guard.
Because Driscoll's out.
Yeah, Driscoll's out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on IR.
Boy. Oh boy.
So but you don't have to worry about it. It's a lot different at guard than having him at center.
Right.
He'll be
exposed.
Okay. Yeah, he won't be exposed. They'll call an offense that'll cater to his strong suit, and that's him going straight ahead, forward. No, we don't need to go lateral. Just go straight forward. And he'll play better.
Now, what would happen if something happened to Kelsey again during this game? What do they do?
He will go back. They would push. Kelsey. Kelsey goes out. They'll push Nate Herbig over,
and then who plays right guard?
Well, the guy that I really don't want to. I forget his name. Hold on a second. Let me get it. Let me get the roster up. He played before, and he got crushed. Last year. I mean, he got beat up really pretty bad last year. They had to take him back out.
They played a lot of offensive linemen last year. I even forget these guys, but I was just curious.
Well, they would bring in
Opeta. Is it Opeta?
That's his name.
Oh
Opeta.
Boy! Oh.
They would bring in Opeta, and that'd be a long day. Opeta'd be there, and they have Brett Toth. He's still there.
Toth. That's right.
But he's more of a tackle type of guy. You said who could
the Tothster? who could forget him?
But I'm gonna tell you, after that, man, it's pretty. They don't have really a backup after that.
Right.
I mean, they could go with Andre Dillard at guard, I guess.
Could he play guard?
And like I said, it's a different mindset when you do that. And I was trying to explain to people the difference between tackle and guard.
Yeah. Well,
The
I thought he
biggest
was
difference.
left side only, like a left tackle only guy.
Well, I mean, they might be able to put him in a guard. I mean, he's been around one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL, so he might be able to get something done as far as teaching this kid how to play at a higher level, other places on the old line. But it just everything happens just faster. Everything is accelerated when you go into guard. You know, you don't have as much real estate to play around with when you're at guard because it's the fastest way to the quarterback. He's right there at the quarterback. So if you do come in there, he has to, think that everything happens a lot faster and there's a lot more physical in the inside. Things happen a lot faster. Bigger guys in the inside, stronger guys in the inside also.
Right.
So it's different in that aspect. It's a much more physical game. The physicality of playing inside a guard is more suited to guys that are, stockier, stumpier.
Right.
Outside, you gotta kind of be an athlete. You move around a little bit, you gotta move in space. Understand that those guys that you're playing against are a lot faster than you are anyway. So you gotta be more a finesse game. On the inside, it's straight wrecking ball. You got to go out there and want physicality. You got to want to be able to hit somebody and get at them really quick, because if you don't, it could be a long day for you. That's why you can't have tackle sets at guard. You have to set more firmer, set into the line of scrimmage as opposed to giving ground. You can't give ground there because you're too close to the quarterback.
I got you. Now, what about, I'm just thinking of disaster scenarios in case Kelsey gets hurt again. Landon Dickerson played center in college.
Yes, he did.
And could they move him in there, Mailata to left guard, and then put Dillard at his spot that he's comfortable with at left tackle? I'm just trying to think it out loud here.
Well, that is a possibility.
That'd be a lot of change, though.
A whole lot of change for, and I don't doubt they would do that for just one position.
Okay.
Jordan Mailata could go in and play guard easily.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
He's one big damn guard, man.
I mean, our quarterback might not be able to see going left.
That's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem.
He's only 6 foot, but
yeah,
he could move in. That could be a possibility, but I think the biggest possibility, the best thing they could do, Brent Toth would have to come in and play.
All right, let me ask you this, because we talked about, I'm looking at this from just a fan perspective or a person that, quote unquote, I don't really cover the team, but it's like I got to be, I'm invested in this from, more than a fan perspective. So it's hard for me to get excited about this game because it's the Jets. Does that exist in the locker room at all? Like, do these players, I know sometimes it's hard for him to get up for certain games, but there's only so many games in the NFL. Like, is that the case this week where these guys are like, man, it's the Jets, ho hum?
Well,
or no?
It might have been that way if they'd have won.
If they'd have beaten the Giants
last game.
Okay.
They're like, we're gonna run over them anyways.
Right.
But since they didn't, it'll be a different sense of urgency going into this game. Because they just got, pushed back to reality.
Right.
They were kind of in a euphoric stage for the last couple of weeks, thinking, they're unbeatable because the offensive line can play, and we're moving the offense.
They've found this identity now, right? Who's going to mess with them? We can run it on you even when we're going to run it on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they just noticed they didn't run the ball consistently because they didn't try to run the ball consistently.
Right.
And like I said, I watched film, and it was surprising to me that the Giants chose to play coverage as opposed to stopping the run. They only had a 6-man box a good bit of the day. And that's something that, the other teams didn't do. You had to have that extra defender in the box, and they didn't do it.
Right.
So even with 12 personnel, they had 6 men in the box with 12 personnel. That's an out-and-out, just totally disrespectful defense to run against a heavy formation like 12 personnel. And they did it.
Right.
They had some success with it because the Eagles, foolishly enough,
chose to throw the ball
during that time, so they guessed right.
I'll tell you.
They're back. They're back down to where they need to be. An understanding, you got a small amount of time to maximize your potential, and they understand they have to maximize the potential in this next game. So you'll see a different game out there. You see different guys out there making plays, and they'll never go into a game from this point on like, all right, we're the the big dogs on campus. We're just going to beat up on you guys. They're not going to go with that anymore. They understand that they have to play week in and week out. It's play amazing. Well week in and week out. It's
amazing that they would even go into that game last week with that mindset, given the fact that it is a division game. I mean, anything can happen in the division, no matter no matter what your records are, right?
But it's such a young team, at so many key positions, especially in that wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
When you're young like that, you think you're invincible. You think you can do everything. And those guys are starting to smell themselves a little bit. I told you, them data boys will get you every single time, man.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get you every single time. So, as they go forward, they can always look, hey, man, remember the Giants. Remember the Giants game. So this can be locked into, who they are consciously and be like, all right, we can't afford this. We can't afford this at all.
All right. Now, have you heard anything about Jordan Howard for this week?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. Nothing yet. I haven't heard anything yet. I'm not, but I didn't go through this morning. I didn't go through the press conferences of what they said. I didn't even go through that, man. I was trying to get guests for the show, man. Trying to get my boys to come on the show.
Yeah, and you got some texts out to some guys that have experience playing for the Jets, right?
Exactly. So, all right. So I got
we've had one of the guys on the show before, Mr.
Aaron
Beasley. Yeah.
So Aaron he just texted me. I'm doing a workout done at 12. Okay, so
we have a guest at 12.
Well, you want him to go at 12:30?
12:30 we could do.
Here we
See
go.
if he can do 12:30. We got Tom Byrne coming on at noon. Tom Byrne, of course, on Sirius XM, NBA Radio, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Was a veteran of Philadelphia sports radio, local sports radio, and he covers the NBA. We're going to talk to him a little bit about the Sixers and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and then we'll also get into, since he is a noted Fighting Irish honk in the Philadelphia area, we're going to talk some Notre Dame football with him and this whole Brian Kelly thing. So we got a bunch to discuss with him. But at 12:30, we could use someone. If Mr. Beasley can come on then, that would be great.
Well, I just texted him. Could you do 12:30? So, he'll get back to us. He'll definitely get back to us.
All right. Now, have you checked out at all on film? Are you there yet? Because I know you got a college game to worry about this weekend. Have you studied at all the New York Jets and their defense against the run?
I did, but they're small. They're small at the ends. You look at that defense, it looks a lot like what the Eagles just played this last week. If we go out there and try to pass against that defense, it could be a long day, a very long day because they're good against the pass. Against the run, they're just so small that we can beat up on them, man. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah, they've given up the 6th most yards on the ground as a defense.
See?
I just looked it up. Over 1,400 yards allowed. 4.5 yards a carry on average.
Because they're smaller guys up there, man. And you have to look at – it's not just looking at statistics when you're looking at these games, but look at the personnel packages they have. Look at the personnel. That's why I look at the Eagles. I'm like, all right, we got to run the ball because we have such a massive left side of the line of scrimmage that we should. And we'll be even bigger with Herbig in there at the right guard position. We should roll over this team. We shouldn't even pass the ball. In fact, Jalen Hurts should only have 10 passes in this game.
So you're looking at this like an Army-Navy game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
Just line it up and run the ball.
And you don't want to go out there trying to pass the ball because they got guys that can rush the passer. Shaq Lawson is a really good pass blocker.
Right.
You want to make sure that you keep him under wraps. So Quentin Williams, he's a pretty good run stopper, but, you double team him.
He was a first-round pick.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
He was really good coming out.
The Jets have also allowed the second most 20-plus rushes in the league as a defense. Second only to the Steelers, believe it or not.
That's a small team, small defense. And when you look at defense, you look like that. You have to run against some smaller defense, some smaller type fast. You don't want to get it caught up in passing the ball against them because those guys can rush the pass. They're pass rush specialists.
Yeah. Big people beat up little people. That's
exactly.
Chip Kelly taught me that.
Exactly. So you want to run the ball, and that way you don't have to worry about C.J. Mosley being a factor in the game because this kid there, he can blitz, he can cover. You need to put a body on him. Get them big guys, hitting them, making them get up. Yeah, we do have Aaron Beasley, former Jets, former Mountaineer.
And Jaguars. Didn't he play for the Jags too,
he started with the Jaguars, yes.
Right. So 12:30.
So he'll be on at 12:30.
Beautiful. Good job. Now, Joey B on the stream, he doesn't miss a trick. He says, Harry didn't shave off the Fu Manchu. Now, first of all, it's not a Fu Manchu. Okay, it's a mustache. Big difference from Fu Manchu. No, I didn't, but I trimmed it because I didn't have time to just do the whole shave today. So I just trimmed it up with the electric trimmer.
There you
It'll
go.
gone. It'll be gone this week. My wife cannot wait for it to be gone.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Well,
Nobody wants this to stick around.
Man, I have to keep the hair on my face, man. I remember when I first got into doing TV stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be almost like uncivilized to have beards and stuff on TV.
I know now everybody has one.
Yeah, now everybody does.
Yeah.
And black guys say you can't trust another black guy with no mustache and no hair on his face.
Is that right?
It's like an unwritten rule. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. It's like, it's
now,
is
this
one of those
only with guys who have their head shaved? Like, because the head shaved and no facial hair, it takes a special kind of person to pull that off.
I'm not like Seth can pull it off. I'm not a guy that can pull it off. Like I'll do that, man. My face looks like a booty, man. So I don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
A booty.
But I don't want the ass face, bro.
Right.
But it used to be like an unwritten rule. You can't trust a guy with no hair on their face. And that's just, that's in whether you're bald headed or not, because I remember we used to mess around with Sterling Sharp about that, man, all the time. He used to cut his, all the facial hair. But then I saw him one time when he had hair on his face. I'm like, yeah, bro, you need to make sure you keep hair on, keep hair off your face. Yeah. Keep hair off your face. Yeah. So certain people can. Some people can do it. Some people can't do it.
Right.
Sterling's one of those guys. He can't do it.
Because I know both Aton and Mertitas, bald white guys, right?
Right.
When they go without any facial hair, depending on if they have any kind of like color to their, like a tan, they can look a little odd. I mean, it can look a little disturbing, like when I remember when Jason a while ago when I was doing the show with him years ago, he shaved. Because he gets this real nasty mountain beard, like it looks like bugs live in it and stuff. And then all of a sudden he comes in the next day and it's totally shaven, and he's got this little like pea head, and I'm like, dude, you look weird. Like you need to start growing that back. Something's up.
You ever seen the movie Powder?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
that's what I see. What Powder?
Yeah, that was kind of an odd movie.
It was, man. I didn't understand it at all. But I'm like, let me leave that alone, man. Let me leave that alone.
All right. Now, the other thing.
Now we have AB. We do have AB at 12:30. I just sent him the link.
Okay, good. So Tom Byrne at noon and Aaron Beasley at 12:30.
Yep.
So we got a lot to get into before then, too. I've noticed it's funny how we are in this town. Like we look for things to just sort of focus in on and pick apart until like there's nothing left to pick.
Right.
And this week, it seems like it's that final play. I have seen more footage on social media and the websites on this final play and who was open, where and when, and what he should have done with the football. And Devontae Smith, it would have taken a special throw to get it over the corner.
Right.
Like, I'd love to get your take on this because we break this stuff down like the Zapruder film of Kennedy being shot. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like has their own analysis of it.
Well,
who was in the wrong there? Was anybody in the wrong there besides Rager for dropping the damn ball?
Well, you know what? It's funny you asked that.
Is that going to be?
Yeah.
Is that going to be the baritone?
Well, it was sort of that baritone. I did a play, where they were 12 personnel, and they and like I said, the Giants played covers as opposed to stopping the run. I can't say that enough, which is pretty bold to them because they're like, all right, we don't care about the run. We care about the pass. And I'm like, why would you care about the pass? What did you know that we didn't know that this Eagles team was going to try to throw the ball against the Giants? I don't know. But look, but on that play, Adoree Jackson was end up being on not man to man, but he was covering on on that route. So when you look at it, it seemed like he was open, but he wasn't open because you had Xavier McKinley over the top.
Okay.
Xavier McKinley was right over the top, and he was like shadowing him. And that's the reason why Jalen Hurts threw 2 picks because that same type of defense. It looks like the guy is open because he's had some, different distance away from the cornerback, but over the top, there's a safety lurking.
Right.
He's just sitting there waiting.
Yeah, you got to drop it in the box. Like in the bucket, they say. Drop it in the bucket.
And if it wasn't a precise pass that, just like it was no room for error because McKinley was right there. He could see it. And because Smith has become such a good weapon, teams are starting to, locate
shade
where
coverage.
he is first.
Yeah.
So they're starting to move and fade over to that as opposed to sitting back, and playing what the defense is really supposed to be playing. They're starting to, lean a little bit. And that's exactly what happened. Xavier McKinley was over the top of Smith on that play. So because
Smith started out in the slot on the right,
Yes.
and then cut across the formation and then started to go up.
Yep. So he went behind those 2 receivers and then he cut it up and it looks like he's open. It really does, but he's not because Xavier McKinley's right there. He threw 2 passes and they got picked off because of that same type of coverage that they were running.
Now Aaron Rodgers might have been able to zip it in there.
Right.
But he's a special arm talent, right?
Yeah, exactly. When you get around, when you first 5 guys in the league, they could do that to you. But once you get around that 10th and 11th and 12th best quarterback, they aren't specialized like that, and he definitely wouldn't have been able to put it in that. Well, he could have, not saying he couldn't, but it just would. He tried it twice and got bitten.
It would have had to been a perfect throw.
Perfect pass.
Okay.
Perfect.
So then as Devontae Smith started to go straight up the sideline towards the end zone, he thought he was open there too. But at that point, that was when Jalen Hurts was under a little bit of duress and had to move to his left, and get in another spot. By the time that happened, Devontae was not so open at that point.
Exactly. There's so much stuff that's happening around him. You know what I'm saying? Kind of the same way when you watch it. It's almost like they played we call it matchup zone. It's not necessarily man-to-man, but you'll see a guy trailing the guy because he's in that matchup where he started off. So if he starts off there, they match up with him, and once he goes, they're going to kind of stick with him and follow him. Same thing they were doing to Goddard also. Goddard would start off with somebody else on him, and
then he'd pass him off.
And instead of passing him off the matchup zone, they bring somebody else that's in the zone. They bring somebody else down on him and cover him with 2 people.
Oh, okay.
So you know what I'm saying? So that's what a matchup zone is. You might end up going away from one part of the zone, but once you get to another part of that zone, not only did they bring the guy with them, but they also bring somebody else to come cover him also. And that's when you need, when you're first or second threat to that defense, once they're covered, the third threat has to be the guy to make things happen.
Right.
And it just so happened our third threat
Jalen
Reagor.
Right.
Raygor. He was our third threat. So he wasn't able to get the job done. So that's why the plays look as bad as they did. Because when you look at this team, I mean, there were 2 touchdowns called back, man.
Oh, I know.
2 touchdowns.
Herbig on one. And what was the other one? I forget the other one.
Well, it was a sprint right option.
Oh, that was
it wasn't
the Ward.
called back, but he just dropped it.
Yeah, he dropped it.
He just dropped it. So that's 2 touchdowns that we should have had. 2 touchdowns.
And that's a play that Ward has made before.
Exactly. Sprint right option is the best play in football. It's the easiest play in football.
Right.
You get out there, all you got to do is catch it. He dropped it.
That was a West Coast. That was a West Coast offense play, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So on that play, if he'd have caught it, we wouldn't have got to them kicking, not even kicking the field goal. We wouldn't have got with the interception the last play of this first half. We wouldn't even got to that. Just catch the damn ball. You know what I'm saying? So we're not even factoring in those 2
right. That was in the same drive. Those
were
in the same drive. The Boston Scott touchdown was called back because of Herbig hook, and then you missed. Ward dropped it, and then they just threw a pick.
Exactly. So I mean, it's
we're 0 for 3 on one drive to get.
Come on, man. It's ridiculous, man. We shouldn't even. We should have went into halftime up 4 points.
Right.
Period.
Or at worst 3-3.
Yeah, exactly.
At worst, Jalen Hurts throws the ball away there, and they have a second or 2 left on the clock where they could have ran the field goal. So, yeah, I don't know. So I know people just breaking this play down to death. So I thought we'd hit on that. The other thing is did you happen to watch? There wasn't much on last night. Did you happen to watch any college basketball last night?
No, I didn't.
All right.
Everybody, I just see all the clippings, for Duke being number 1 now.
Well, Duke got beat last night.
Oh, did they?
That's my point. Like I was watching a little bit of this Ohio State Duke. It's the Big Ten ACC Challenge, okay?
Wow.
Which is a manufactured television event that ESPN has been doing for eons. Duke played at Ohio State, and they got this Paolo Banchero kid who's a freshman. He's like 6'10". He kind of looks like a 19-year-old Ben Simmons, but he can shoot. Okay, he's willing
to
shoot.
Say that to me?
And yes, and he can hit a jump shot. I mean, think about that.
At 6'10",
a young 6'10" player that actually can put the ball on the floor and shoot it. But anyway, Duke had a huge lead in this game. They led at halftime, and they led by 15 in the second half and spit the game up and lost.
Wow.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
So
I hate Duke.
So why? I mean, how did this happen?
They just couldn't shoot. They didn't score in the final 5 minutes of the game.
Wow, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, pretty incredible. I didn't know if you were watching that last.
No, I didn't watch it, man. So I'm kind of pissed. I might watch it after the show today.
Yeah,
while I'm in my garage freezing to death.
Oh, you're gonna be in there working on a car?
Well, I mean, I got one of those magic jacks, and the jack came down, and it clipped one of my hoses to my hydraulic hoses when I let it down. So I got to change my hydraulic hose. I had transmission fluid everywhere, man, because I didn't use hydraulic fluid. I had transmission everywhere because it clipped that hose, and that hose, it was under a lot of pressure. I was like, oh man, I hate to do it to myself. So I did this back a month ago. I hadn't fixed it yet. So I ordered it last week. It came, the hose came in. I just got to trade the hose out. So I'm gonna do that once I'm done. But as I'm doing that, I'm gonna watch a little TV while I'm in my garage. I turned the heaters on already. I put heaters in my garage, and I turned them on early this morning. So when I get out there, it should have taken that, the first bite of that initial cold. It should be gone by now.
So you don't have the big garage door open when you're doing this, do you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Not when it's this cold outside.
So you don't play music when you work on the car. You watch. You have television on.
I listen. Yeah, I listen. I'm not a real big music guy.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? I know. In my car, I don't listen to music. If it's not on a sports show, I just won't listen to anything. It drives my kids crazy. Because it drives me crazy because my son actually used my car the other day. So I was like, all right, go ahead, man. He takes my car, brings it back. First of all, it's like half a tank of gas gone that he didn't put back in there. I just filled it up, and that's a half a tank. So I'm like, where the hell did he go? That's number one. But number two, when I turn the car on, the radio's blasting, almost, scares the hell out of me. I'm like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Loud music in my. I'm like, come on, man, come on now. First of all, you didn't, fix my seat. Second of all, I turn it on, the radio's loud. Then third, to top it off, 3 strikes and you're out. The music's up loud, man. It's just I just don't even want to touch my car anymore, bro. I don't, man. So then I asked him, man, why didn't you, why you run on my gas on my car? Why didn't you just drive your car? In fact, why didn't you just drive your car? Because I didn't have any gas in my car. Oh, so you're going to use my gas up and not use yours. I'm like, come on.
That's when you get in the car and you got enough gas to get to the gas station and get out your debit card.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not that tough. AJB on the stream says, remind me never to go to Barrett as my mechanic.
Well, I mean, it happens, man. That stuff happens, man.
He drinks 8 infused cocktails and makes a mess.
You know what? With Stateside is my new lick, man.
Did you get another case?
Not yet. I'll keep Xander. I'm on you, man. Let's go, baby. But bro, Stateside is. I mean, you could drink it just with ice, man.
Oh, I know. It's good.
It's smooth, man. It doesn't bite you, man. It's smooth. I like it, man.
Yeah,
I like it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that happens, man. Because I can't see both sides of a car when I'm letting it down. That happens, man.
Yeah.
But I know how to fix it.
Okay.
That's the big thing. I know how to fix it, man. I couldn't see myself having a new car that I couldn't fix. That's why I'll never have an electric car, because I know nothing. I know anything about electronics. Nothing. So, I mean, why would I have an electric car?
Well,
it just won't happen for me.
They're going to force you to have electric cars pretty soon. It's coming. It's coming. And they act like they're cheap, too. Like, these gas prices are going up. Yeah, you got to get an electric car. They're expensive.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I was actually looking at a show yesterday, and they showing the new electric cars. I'm like, they're all too small for me also.
Right.
So how can I get an electric car?
You're not getting in a Prius.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Now, Mercedes makes one now, too.
Yeah, that's still small too.
It is. It's a lot smaller than their
other
other
cars. It's like a 300
cars.
series. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 300 series.
And how much is that thing? I bet that's like 70, 80 grand.
Something like that. And then, I was at my boy's his dealership, and it was a Chevy dealership, and I went and saw the new Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it. I couldn't fit in there if I had 2 shoehorns and a crowbar.
Oh yeah, you'd need like a lift to get out of that thing,
bro. You would have to have the jaws of life just to get me out of that car.
I can hardly get out of my wife's BMW.
Right?
Seriously, it's like you're on the ground.
It's what you feel like. You feel like that. Yes. You feel like that. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, it's crazy, man. I just just playing around. I tried like 5 different positions to try to get in. And I did not fit in any way. In any way did I do it.
Yeah, they don't look comfortable. Look, this Mercedes-Benz electric car that I've seen advertised over the last couple of weeks, $102,000.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm looking at it right now. 2022 Mercedes-Benz EQS will arrive in dealerships this fall with a starting price of $102,310.
Are you kidding me?
Plus a destination fee. So
you starting off, man, at $100 grand.
$100 grand, right?
They better have every bell and whistle. I should be able to blow, and the car pulls up in front of my house.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
For $100 grand,
we got to take a short time out. We'll be back in a few. We got a lot more to cover here, just between you and me, before the guests start coming on. Do you know, Barrett, the MLB might be in a lockout by tonight?
What?
Are you aware of this?
No,
I was not until this morning.
Me neither.
So we'll have to discuss that. Plus, RG3 has a book coming out, and apparently he's going to blast the Washington football team organization.
There we go. I needed that.
There we go. All right. That and a whole lot more when we come back right here on The Middle on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fought. What's that? Huck and Fought. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Oh, yeah. Big Tuesday on the middle. Got a half hour to go. Tom Byrne joins us at the top. And then at 12:30, Aaron Beasley, former NFL player. Local guy, too. Then he went to West Virginia. And he went to the Jaguars, played with the Jets. I'm curious to know. He wasn't with the Jets very long, just to see, like, you know, if because back then, was he there with Chad Pennington?
Yes,
because they were decent then. They went to They went to the playoffs once or twice.
It had Martin too.
That's right. Oh, I loved
Martin
him.
too. Yeah, I mean, he was good. Pitt guy.
Curtis.
You know,
Martin,
we all came. We came out the same year, man. I can remember Martin and all those guys. You know, I mean, we had a pretty good draft class, man. You know, 1995 was a pretty good draft class. You know, from Kyle Brady, tight end from Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
His quarterback.
Oh yeah,
was there then. I had Napoleon Kaufman. I had the speedy receiver from Ohio State. What was his name? He's now big in college football with ESPN.
Oh yeah.
What is his name? Joey Galloway.
Joey Galloway.
Let me tell you a story about Joey Galloway and Napoleon Kaufman. Nip and Napoleon Kaufman.
Napoleon played at Navy, right?
No, Napoleon Kaufman played at Washington.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, the running back from
Napoleon
Washington.
McCallum is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Napoleon Kaufman. Yeah. Napoleon Kaufman, him and Joey Galloway was two of the strongest guys I ever met. We were in this bowl game together, East-West Shrine game, and they had us in these like apartments. It was 4 rooms in an apartment. In the middle was like the sitting room and the
common
kitchen
area
and stuff. Yeah, that's the common area. So those guys would wake up at like 6 in the morning, make all this noise. Hey, get up, let's go, big fellas, let's go. It's me and Scott Graggs. I was an offensive tackle. Scott Graggs was an offensive tackle. These two, hey man, let's get up, let's go get a run in, let's go get a workout in. I'm like, man, what are you doing, man? Scott was like, man, I'm going. I said, you know what? I'll go out there with you guys. I'll go lift with him. I'll go lift with him and Joey Galloway. First of all, they start off on the bench with 3 plates. 315. They start off
3 45-pound plates.
Yes.
Wow.
315 on the bar. They both do it for sets of 10. 315. We're talking about a running back and a wide receiver.
Yeah.
They finished up a 405 doing it for sets of 5. I'm like, man, get the hell out of here, bro. I'm not lifting that. It's too early in the morning. I mean, these guys are workout fanatics, man. Fanatics. Can you believe they both benched over 400 pounds and could do 405?
That's pretty
for
impressive.
Sets of 5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's more than I don't know what's wrong with those guys, man.
Well, that goes to show you what the strength and conditioning program was like at Ohio State and the University of Washington.
Right. 2 national champions sitting there. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's why Kansas State, I maxed out at like 420, 425. You know what I mean?
Right.
These guys in there just throwing it up, for reps.
That's hilarious. All right, Robert Griffin III. He does college games now with ESPN.
I know. I see him on the list all the time.
Yeah, he's actually not bad.
Yeah.
I've watched some games that he's done. He's not bad. He tweeted, "New book alert: The truth will set you free. Surviving Washington." And then he gives where the book, Simon and Schuster, and all this stuff. And then he's got a little video talking about this book. And this is going to be basically one of these tell-all books, I guess. He says, "I'm going to tell you the truth about what happened in that playoff game in 2012 against Seattle. I'm going to detail the medical mismanagement I received during my time in Washington. I'm going to open your eyes to the sexual harassment that permeated the walls of that building and give you a deep dive into a power struggle between one of the most powerful coaches in all of sports and an owner that many of you want gone." So I guess he's talking about Shanahan, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Now, this sounds like something I might be interested in.
I might go ahead and read that too. I might go ahead and check it out. Maybe they have it on you could just listen to it too,
Oh yeah, books on tape.
Yeah, books on tape.
Right.
I'm not reading that. Come on now.
Yeah, because
I'll lie for you if I lie to you.
Well, what about if you get it on your read it on your road trips out to Missoula, Montana?
Well, I will definitely have enough time to do that because I got to fly into Denver, Joey B, and then I fly to Missoula. I didn't even know there was a place called Missoula, man.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah, man.
Missoula.
Tell
you know, I'm watching film on them, man. You know what? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. And they're playing a team that beat them earlier in the year.
Who are they playing?
Eastern Washington.
Oh, that's right. You said that yesterday. That's right.
They beat them early in the year. Yeah. So I watched that game like 3 times. Yep.
Yeah. Eastern Washington is the school that plays on the red turf. I think.
The red turf Hawks.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah, it's hard. I remember I tried to watch a game in the FCS playoffs a couple years ago. There was a home game for them. I couldn't watch it.
Well,
that turf is I'm not down with that.
I had to watch it. And,
yeah.
You know, I've watched it like 2.5 times already, man. And, you know, trying to, get a sense of what I was going to be looking at because they played each other early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Washington barely beat them. And actually the Grizzlies should have beat them. But it's going to be a good game because both teams are really, really good. Very fundamentally sound. In fact, the Grizz they actually beat Washington this year.
Oh, the University of Washington.
Yeah.
Well, University of Washington ended up firing their coach.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a bad year this year. They just hired the guy from Fresno State.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So now, this book, I mean, this is interesting. I mean, the NFL is obviously, they're trying to keep everything hush-hush except for the Gruden emails. That's the only thing that we know about this whole investigation. This could be interesting. Do you think this could put RG3 in a tough spot, being that he works for ESPN now, that is a partner with the NFL?
I don't think so. I think they'll try to, they'll try to distance themselves away from it. But as long as their guy, all the commentary he's gonna get from that man, he's gonna get a bunch of shows and ESPN's gonna lock on and get be a part of that. They're gonna try to soak up as much as they can of it, but they're gonna try to distance themselves from it. But they're gonna try to reap the benefits of him being on TV and being one of their guys.
Right.
So they'll do it that way. But I don't know if it.
And then when he gets grief for trying to sell a book by utilizing sexual harassment as a way to sell a book, they'll just back off. Whoa.
Right.
Like that's him.
Yeah.
They probably won't stand by him then.
Like, hey, that's not us. We don't have anything to do with that.
He's just on the show to promote the book. I don't know what to tell you.
We have no parts in this.
We can't have any blowback on Stephen A here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my God.
That guy there, Stephen A. He is Mr.
He's Mr. ESPN, man.
Oh, no question.
I'm still trying to get over the fact that somebody expects me to get a Mercedes car, an electric car, for $100,000.
I'm trying to get a deal with the fact that I'm gonna have to build my own electric cars because I can't fit in any other cars. I'm gonna have to build my own. You know what I mean?
They couldn't make that Magnum
I wish.
Electric.
I wish. I'm gonna have to do it myself.
Or a hybrid at least.
Yeah.
See, I'm where do you go to get that charged up with these electric? You have to have your own charger at your house too.
At your house, yep. At your house.
That's more of an expense.
But you know what? Even at the Wawas, you start seeing these charging stations.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, the Wawas. You see them everywhere in the airport. Like I'm sitting there and like I'm trying to get to the plane the other day, trying to get there and get parked. And there's like 2 spots sitting there for electric cars. I wanted to park there so bad, man. I just wanted to make sure if I come back, my car will still be there. But I started to park there. I'm like, no, I'm not even going to chance it. So I end up, having to go up, 2 more levels in order to park at the airport.
Oh, they'd have towed your ass.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah, you'd have been on a flatbed in a half an hour. You wouldn't have even been checked into your plane, and your car would have been on its way.
And it would have been a guy. It would have been a guy that doesn't even have an electric car that would call on me to have me towed for, parking an electric car spot. That's exactly what would happen. I'd be pissed. I'd be hot as fish grease, man. Somebody else called. How you going to call on me? And, I tell you, man, it'll be just my luck too. So I was like, nah, I'm not even going to chance it. I want to have my car when I come back. I've seen them tow cars like in the airports. And I sat back and watched one time. They were towing this car. They were really beating the car up, man. They were doing all kind of stuff to it. Like they don't care. And they have no regard.
Those tow truck drivers, they don't care about your car.
They're like dragging it out, dragging it out. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't really get into these spots that well.
Right.
And they were just pushing her around. I'm surprised, that they didn't break a lot of stuff on it, man, because they were doing it dirty. They were doing it real
That's a
dirty.
big competition between them tow truck drivers to get to your car first and get it on the flatbed, man.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, tow truck wars.
Yep. You watched that before?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Now, Angry Al Bundy on the stream says the parking lot in the King of Prussia Giant has a giant Tesla charging station. Yeah, the Teslas cost $100,000 too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't afford that.
It's a lot of them out here where I live.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel as though I shouldn't even be out here, man. Like my kids, they going to school. I go up and pick my kids up from school.
Mm-hmm.
The kids have like BMWs and Mercedes and stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah,
girl, you better drive this Nissan I just got you and be happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Dad, look at, I don't care what they have.
I know.
I don't care.
Don't keep up with the Joneses.
No. I don't drive a BMW. Why would I let you drive a BMW?
Exactly. That's
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's a good point. What do they say to that? Because that's logic right there.
I don't even wait for a response. I don't even entertain a response.
That's good.
You can buy your own car. Okay, when you buy your own car, you do it. You buy whatever you want to buy.
Look, man, I drove around when I was a senior in high school in a Ford Fiesta. Now, you talk about a car that is not going to get you any women. It's a Ford Fiesta. All right. You imagine that's how I had to hone my game.
Right.
At an early age, because my car wasn't getting me any kind of love.
Well, you had the gift of gab. Then that's how you developed the gift of gab. That's the whole point.
Man. Yeah, that's right. So maybe it helps your character, helps build your character by having a car that's not a fancy hot car.
All right. Well, my pops had he had a brown van. It was called the Brown Derby.
Well, my car was beige. So it's essentially like a light brown. It was an ugly car. It was a hideous car.
And my pops called it the Brown Derby. And I can remember one time, me and my brother, man, this car, man, this van, man, me and my brother are driving, right? And this Hornet flies in the car, and it comes up and it stings. Like, oh, it stings me, and I like veer to the side, and boom, I hit a light pole. Backed it up and kept going. So I looked up at my brother and said, "Hey, man, you better not say anything about what just happened."
Mm-hmm.
And he never said a word, man. In fact,
right?
This is the only time I've said this story. The first and last time, the only time I've ever said this story. And my brother did not say a word. He never told on me.
Is that right?
My pops, God rest his soul. He never knew, because my brother, he kept it tied to the hip.
Mm-hmm.
He probably surprised. In fact, my mom might see this right now and be like, "What?
Yeah,
is that what happened to that?"
Right.
She might be mad, man. But he never told us so. He kept it 100 between me and him, man.
Now, what did you run into again?
A light pole.
Okay.
So it just had a dent in it. It didn't really make a difference, but the it had a dent in a bumper. So really, it just cosmetically it looked a little messed up, but it didn't mess up anything in the car.
That's like
I had to drive around.
That's like me and my buddy backing out of the Fireside Grill, I believe it was called, up in Carlisle, PA, which was near Shippensburg, where I went to college at the time. And the Washington football team used to train there. So we went up to just watch them. And we ended up going to the bar afterward. And in walks Russ Grimm and a couple of the other hogs. And they sat down and started eating clams and stuff and drinking beer. So we drank beer with them for like 3 hours. And they're talking football. It was awesome, right? Russ Grimm took up 2 bar stools himself.
Right.
And these dudes this wide.
That was my dude, man.
Oh, he was great. And these guys could pound beers, man. So me and my buddy leave, and we got to go back to Shippensburg. It's like 12, 15 miles down the road. And I back out of the place in the Fiesta. I'm like, my buddy's like, what the hell was that? I backed right into the sign of the bar. So it was like this cement, like base of the bar sign, right? Didn't do anything to the car. Car just went bam, and we're like, oh my God. All right, just get out of here. And we just went. Classic. Russ Grimm. I blame Russ Grimm.
That's my dude, man.
Buying pitchers of beer by the boatload.
And look, in that car, my pops used to get pissed off because he said, you got Big B's cab service. Because all I did was go pick up guys in my in the van and go to practice with it. You know, everybody could fit in my van to go to practice. So I picked them up to go to practice. And this Big B's cab service. You know, ain't nobody buying no gas, but you picking everybody up, dropping them off. Big B's cab service. Like,
I don't blame him. Yeah, I don't blame him. Just because I got the biggest vehicle and you got to go pick everybody else up.
Exactly.
Where's my gas money?
Right.
All right. Now, were you aware? Now, we got Tom Byrne coming up at noon, but I want to I want to at least ask you about this or the people, because this kind of took me by surprise. On ESPN's website, I saw this headline: everything you need to know about the MLB's looming lockout. And this guy writes, welcome to the end of baseball for a while, at least. At 11:59 Eastern time, the collective bargaining agreement between MLB and the MLB Players Association is set to expire. If a new one isn't in place, the owners are expected to lock out the players. And then they're talking about how long it could go and games could be missed and all this kind of stuff.
That would ruin baseball, man.
Well,
they haven't recovered from the last lockout.
That's what I'm saying. I think they really could run the risk of really killing it.
Exactly.
You know, are you going to miss it? Is my next question.
I can't say that I would.
Right.
Like, I didn't even know about it. I didn't know the contracts were even up this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I'm so out of touch with what's going on with baseball. It's pathetic, man.
Yeah.
You know, and plus, you know, our team hasn't given us anything to look at. You know, look at the Mets. Just like you said, the Mets out there making moves. And
they signed Max Scherzer to a 3-year deal. They got a couple of 3 guys over the weekend, like a week ago. All bats, infielders, outfielders. They're making all kinds of moves.
And look at us.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But we have the MVP.
Right.
He's on the team, and we got the second in the Cy Young, but we got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
The best pitcher though. The best pitcher in the league. I mean, best catcher in the league.
Oh yeah, a lot of good that'll do you. Yeah,
nothing
else.
else.
Miss the playoffs. I'm telling you, I won't miss it.
A great pitch. We got a great catcher, but nobody for him to catch balls from that's worth their salt. You know,
except Wheeler, who finished second in the Cy Young.
And we need more than just.
I literally didn't watch a game last year.
I know you said that.
I watched the
playoffs.
I didn't watch any Phillies. Did I miss anything?
No.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. That's my
Absolutely
point.
Not.
That's my point.
And so that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah. Honestly. No, but you're right, though. If they do miss any significant portion of the season, you know, people will check out. There's other things that you can do. I'm telling you, having the whole time with the pandemic and missing all of sports for like 5 months, you know, people found other stuff to do. Granted, you wanted football back, but were you really missing? I really wasn't missing baseball.
No.
Even during the pandemic.
Well, I know, you know, the fans never really got back into Phillies baseball. You know, we could barely get over 10,000.
If they were good, there would have been 30,000 there.
Right, but we weren't. We weren't close. Right. You know, it was a good day for them to get 12,000 people in the stands. You know,
unless they're giving away on a Sunday afternoon.
Exactly.
With nice weather.
Exactly.
Yeah, now
that's gonna be tough, man.
Jeremiah Butler lives in Atlanta, who won the World Series, and says I haven't been watching baseball. Wow.
That's horrible, bro.
That is.
They just won it all, man.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't watch it. That's tough, man. That's
Ball
real tough.
316 says he will miss baseball. Angry
like
Al won't miss it.
My pops was a huge baseball fan, man. Huge, you know, like I grew up.
Well, I was too.
Ozzy and all those guys.
Yeah, man. I used to be too.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
And you know, it's huge in St. Louis, man. Huge. Baseball is huge in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. But now, man, I can't say that I'm disinterested because, I mean, we get paid to talk about them. But it's almost as like when we do talk about them, the stream is like, all right, that's enough for today.
Right.
let's get back on track. You know, let's talk something else. So that's tough, man. That's real tough.
I know. I'm just saying it's you know, it's football or anything. Even you talk Sixers, some people get annoyed with you.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But what do you think of the chances?
They play the Celtics tonight.
Well, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch that. But what are the chances? You think Ben gets traded this month?
This month?
Yeah.
Headed
into January.
I'd say 15% chance.
15?
Yeah.
I would thought that's a little high.
You think it's high?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's go to 10. What do you think?
Yeah, right
10%?
around 10, man, because he just, he has no sense of what his worth is. He thinks he's worth a lot more than what he's getting right now. And because of that, I don't think they, make any hay with it. As long as they have to keep paying him, he's just as fine sitting out.
Right.
Because I don't know if the love of basketball, would you question the love of basketball for him?
Absolutely, I do.
Wow.
Sure, I do.
That's saying a lot, man. When you talk about a professional athlete, the
Right.
love of the game is why you play the game. Money and money, you get money, man, but the love of the game,
you can't get that kind of money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He probably went to like 2 classes at LSU.
Yeah.
He had no interest in playing college basketball once the second semester came around either.
I would venture to say that he never saw what the inside of his classes were.
Mm-hmm.
During that 6 months that he had to go to class. After that, there was no way he was going to class.
There's no way.
No.
All right. Demas says, let's talk about trading for Goff or Jimmy Garoppolo. Are you serious?
No, you can't be serious.
You got to be trolling us, right?
Can't. Right.
My goodness. Goff.
For what?
No.
For what?
Garoppolo.
That's basically the same quarterback we have right now.
Except our guy can run even better.
Right.
I don't know. No. The only one I'm trading for is Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell.
Right. Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to trade with the Eagles. I could see Seattle because Seattle needs to rebuild, and 2 or 3 first-round picks would help them kickstart that.
Yep. But Aaron Rodgers will never play for another team besides Green Bay.
You think he's going to retire there?
Yeah, he's going to retire. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep him there.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. And he can say what he want to say. He loves that place, man. He loves that place. Where would he go?
I think he'd go to Denver. I think he could go to Las Vegas.
I don't think he goes to Las Vegas.
No?
I think they keep that guy there.
What about is San Francisco necessarily sold on that Trey Lance?
I don't think they are sold on Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance might be thought of in the kind of the same sense that Jalen Hurts is thought of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, between me and you, man, when you are a number 1 draft choice, no matter how much you like, the guy that's in front of you, they're going to make a way for you to play. They don't seem too keen on going out and find a way for him to play. He's been chilling. You know what I mean?
You think they're regretting not taking Mac Jones instead?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's pretty funny. All right. We got to take a timeout. We're going to be back with Tom Byrne from Sirius XM's NBA Radio and Mad Dog Sports Radio after this.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fought. What's that? Huck and Fought. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
All right, welcome back. Second hour of the middle on a Tuesday. Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays, JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Smash that like button, and it's time to go to the guest line and bring in. We had this guy on a couple months ago,
right
before the I think it was right at the beginning of the college football season, but he wasn't on video. It was audio only. So now everybody gets to see and enjoy in full effect the great Tom Byrne. You can follow him on Twitter at @1 Tom Byrne. He's on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM's NBA. He's all over the place. He's a noted Notre Dame Fighting Irish honk. So I figured this is a great time to get him on because it's the biggest week really in college football, and he just lost his football coach. Tom, welcome to the show, man. How have the last 48 hours been for you?
I was shocked. I was actually on the air at the time, and I was speechless. I didn't know how to react because, I mean, he's not the first guy to do this. He won't be the last, but it's weird to see Notre Dame lose a coach to another college.
It is.
But let's not be naive. I mean, Notre Dame can afford these coaches. They don't want to afford them. And I think if LSU comes to Notre Dame and says, hey, listen, we want you badly, but we're not going to pay you 1 more cent than the Irish do, I don't think he leaves. I think we're awfully naive trying to figure out all these reasons why these coaches leave. They do it the same reason everybody else does. They chase the almighty dollar bill. So same thing with Lincoln Riley. It's tough to digest. I guess it's, a dose of humility to an extent for a Notre Dame fan. But that said, I mean, if they give the job to Marcus Freeman, I don't adjust my expectations even a little bit.
Really?
Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they said that the AD said that whoever is at the interim won't be a candidate for the job as they go forward. I mean, is that something that you think about?
Who is the interim coach? Do we even know yet? Are they pulling out Lou Holtz, a la Bob Stoops at Oklahoma? I don't even know who the interim coach is. All I know is that
Tommy Rees.
Freeman guy. Oh, was it Tommy Rees? Okay,
I don't know. I don't know.
That would make sense, right? He's the OC. But I think that's
right.
why maybe you go to Marcus Freeman. I don't know a terrible amount of, a lot about him either, but the vibes around him are so that the team loves him. And I think to avoid what's happening at Oklahoma, there's a mass exodus. Transfer portal. Now you got coaches recruiting for SC, still getting paid by Oklahoma. Did you see that report?
Yeah,
you want to avoid that if you're Notre Dame. So I think you do that by bringing in Freeman. These kids love Freeman. And so I think that might be the proper way to go. Maybe Luke Fickell. You know who I would like, Harry? Your guy, Matt Rule, but I don't know if he'd be willing to leave Carolina yet.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he made a big mistake with the quarterback situation, and now he lost McCaffrey again for the rest of the year. He's got a 7-year deal, but I would think that I think he thinks of himself as a pro guy and wants to see this through to see if he can make it work. But Notre Dame's still, in my view, a special place, and if they come calling with the right amount of cash, who knows? I mean,
Right.
but what was Kelly getting paid at Notre Dame? Do you know?
It's a private university. I'm not even sure. Would know. My father probably. He's obsessed with this stuff. I should ask him. I don't really know, but it's nothing close to what Saban's making. You would think that Notre Dame, and they act like they can't afford to please. We all know they can.
Right.
I think it's more principle. They don't want to pay that much. Like I've already seen a rumor that maybe it'd be Freeman because they only have to pay him $2.5 million a year, but he's never been a head coach, so he would accept that, right? So give him 2.5, maybe give Reese as like your quasi head coach 1.5, and you get both of them to stay. So it feels like it's awfully cheap. I mean, they get this NBC check. The one thing to remember though about the NBC check is it's no longer as big as you might think. It's $15 million. It's all relative, but believe it or not, Iowa in the Big Ten is making more from the Big Ten contract. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I wonder if before too long the Irish end up in the ACC full time. I don't think they will until they have to. But once there's changes with the college football playoff, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that's the thing right there. Changes with the college football. That's the major point because they're competing right now. It's not really an issue for them. But what if it starts dropping off and they stop competing with them? They might have to go to sign on with a conference somewhere.
Yeah, again, I think it's going to be financial, the reason they go, because NBC, the ratings weren't as great this year. That also has something to do with they didn't have any signature games, which is weird for them. But if Lincoln Riley gets USC back up, they open next year against Ohio State, it'll be a typical Notre Dame schedule. Those ratings will go up. But a lot of it's going to depend on the negotiation with NBC. If NBC's willing to write a big fat check, then Notre Dame will stay. But if they're not, and they're looking around, and it's like, geez, they're even making more money in the ACC than we are. Then they're going to end up joining a conference. It's funny. People are killing Notre Dame now because they're not in a conference because they don't get that extra data point because they don't play a championship game, which is a great point. But yet if they beat Cincinnati, we'd be saying the opposite. We'd be saying, well, thank God they don't play in a conference championship game because they're already in anyway.
Right.
So when you have a loss, you want the conference championship game. When you're undefeated, you don't. It's going to depend on the year. What would bother me, guys, is I didn't even crush Kelly too much. I mean, look, he looks bad here. They all look like asses when they leave these situations after promising.
Hypocritical, money hungry guys.
Oh, 100%. We all know they do it. My biggest problem is we found out from Gary Barta last night the committee might penalize the kids. Well, that's now a data point. Well, is it going to be Baylor or Notre Dame? Well, Notre Dame doesn't have its head coach. Maybe we'll put Baylor in. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Boy, now I feel real bad for the kids. Forget about being a Notre Dame fan. That's unfair to the kids because I've said from the get-go, Notre Dame should not be in front of Cincinnati. I'll say that 100 times over. They lost to Cincinnati at home. But if it comes down to Notre Dame and Baylor gets in because Brian Kelly took a money grab, wow. That's
that would not be right. But what do you think has to happen on the football field this weekend in these games that are being played in order for Notre Dame to get in?
Well, number one, Georgia's got to beat Alabama. You guys know that. I think that's going to happen, but we know Bama's got a high ceiling. I don't think you could put Bama in with 2 losses.
No,
I think Iowa's got to beat Michigan. It's a title game, so I don't know if this is a spot type of game, but still, I mean, what do they look more forward to, the Ohio State game or a Big Ten championship game against Iowa? I wonder if Harbaugh's crew will be a little flat. They'll need that to happen. And, outside of that, I still think it's better that Baylor beat Oklahoma State because Notre Dame would have a better argument against Baylor than I think they would Oklahoma State. And, of course, Houston beat Cincinnati.
Houston could beat Cincinnati. Yeah, that could happen.
They could. You're right. Dana Holgorsen left the Power 5 conference to go to Houston.
I know.
And then Derek King transferred on him. You can't make it up. But still, Houston's not your typical non-Power 5. So you're right. I can see that happening. Wouldn't that be funny that Notre Dame's future head coach loses to get Notre Dame in potentially with no head coach?
Right.
College football. I love it. You guys know that, but it's a mess.
Well, I love it too, and I know you do, and so does Barrett. But I think a big problem with this and what makes this so, awful is this early signing period. I mean, the fact that they moved this thing up to middle of December, now when teams are making moves or feel like they have to make a move, they got to make it before the season's essentially over, and it screws everything up.
And I don't know if they're going to rectify this situation. That's 100% right, and that's why this is going to continue. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look what Lincoln Riley's doing now. Notre Dame has caught the attention, but Riley went to USC. We're all trying to figure out why. Geez, he's winning scared of the SEC, which I do think is a factor.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's on record saying he wanted nothing to do with the SEC. He doesn't want to play Bama every year, LSU every year, A&M.
Right.
So he goes to USC. Then we find out $6 million home bought for him. They're buying both of his Oklahoma residences. He's making more money than he'll ever know what to do with. No wonder why he leaves.
And the
then
private
he's got his
jet.
assistants. Right, a private jet his family
Yep.
could use anytime. And he's got his assistants recruiting for him at Oklahoma. Oh, my God. I mean, if you're an Oklahoma fan, that's got to drive you freaking crazy. I don't know what to do about this. If coaches are going to leave Notre Dame and Oklahoma, schools that have been in the college football
Nobody's
playoff,
safe. Nobody's safe.
exactly right. Nobody's
Yeah.
safe. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. But, I mean,
You
Nick
look- yeah.
Saban is the most highly regarded coach in the sport. We conveniently forget what he did to Miami. Now, it's a little different because it's professionals, but still.
Right. Right. If,
Well, you
if
look at it,
only
man.
damn Drew Brees could have passed that physical.
Right.
He
I
just stayed
know.
in Miami.
And college football would be better off because I'm so sick and tired of Alabama. How does that
Yeah.
kid not fall down on Auburn?
Oh, I
Just
know.
fall
Tank
your
Bigsby.
ass down to the freaking turf, will you please?
I'm glad
And what
Danielson
if the coach
crushed him.
calling a play did a run to the left side? Just run it up the middle, Paterno style, up the A gap, up the A gap, up the A gap, and they win. Unbelievable. They
But
should have just
you're
knelt.
right.
Unbelievable.
But I'm so glad Gary Danielson crushed that kid multiple times for not
Oh, he
getting,
did.
for getting out of bounds.
Yeah, Gary D was annoyed, which,
He
you know,
was.
I guess it's not a huge shock. I like Gary D. He does feel like a little bit of an SEC apologist, but
He does. He
I think
does.
he calls a good game.
But-
So where do they go now? You know, Notre Dame looking for a head coach. Where do they go? You know, I mean, there's a couple of names that are out there: Luke Fickell, Bill O'Brien, Pat Fitzgerald.
I like Pat
David
Fitzgerald.
Shaw. You know, all these guys. You know, they sound like they could go into to Notre Dame and really make a, because they understand what it is, especially with
Academics.
with Pat
Yeah.
Fitzgerald
and Shaw.
and David Shaw.
Yeah.
Pat Fitzgerald feels like a natural because, first of all, half the population is going to love it because he's Irish Catholic. Two, to
Mhm.
your point, he knows what it is to deal with academic requirements.
Yep.
And so I think he's definitely in the mix. But again, I think the name to circle, guys, is Marcus Freeman. The vibes around this guy on campus, from what I'm told, are like nothing we've seen in a while. Kids love him.
Where
In
did he
fact, they
come
like
from?
more than the head coach. He was a decent, Harry, it's a great point. My father was trying to tell me all about him. I'm like, geez, I didn't think he was that big a deal on the sideline. I'm
Right.
trying to remember. I think he was under Fickell at Cincinnati, in fact. And so
Oh.
that's why a lot of people, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe your producer could look it up, but that's why a lot of people think if they go Fickell, that Freeman might even still stay because they already have a working relationship. And now maybe there's a little continuity. But there are a lot of folks, the feeling I'm getting, there are a lot of folks that want to go ahead and just give it to Freeman because what if Cincinnati does beat Houston? Now you're going
Right.
to wait another few weeks to bring in your
He
head
was
coach.
at
It's unfair to
Cincinnati.
Fickell. Yeah,
He
it's
was
okay.
at
That's what I
Cincinnati.
thought.
Yeah.
So then Fickell and Freeman have a working relationship. So I think it's Fickell, Freeman, 1A, 1B, in whatever order you want. I really do, Barrett. Now,
That'd be
again,
crazy.
you'll hear Matt Rule. You'll hear Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer's called it a dream job, but I don't think Kahn's letting him out of that contract.
Right.
And so I think that's more a pipe dream. Fitzgerald will be in the mix, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be Freeman or I think it's going to be Fickell.
The only thing that could make this better, Tom, I love chaos, and we have chaos this year in a lot of different ways. Barrett will tell you, I always love chaos. But if Ryan Day, who I think is underpaid at Ohio State, he was only making $4.5 million 2 years ago. I think it's up to $6 million now. Decides to go to Chicago to coach his
Yeah,
old
Fickell
quarterback,
goes to Ohio
and then
State.
Fickell goes to Ohio State.
Right. Right. Yeah, that could happen because Fickell, I'm sure he'd love to go to Notre Dame, but if Ohio State opens, he's an Ohio
Right.
guy. I think he's going to want that more. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And somebody brought that up to me. I guess I didn't realize the Bears, had flirted with that idea reportedly. More speculation than reports, but
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense because it's all about Justin Fields in Chicago, and Fields has nothing but respect for Day, so people are connecting the dots. Now, maybe
Right.
after they got rolled by Michigan so thoroughly, Chicago might have, soured on the idea. But yeah, there's a lot that could still happen. I mean,
How
let's not
great
get
was
naive.
that
We didn't
game?
see Lincoln Riley. We didn't see Brian Kelly. We didn't see any
No.
of these guys leaving. What's next
No.
that we don't know about? Who knows?
No, I know. You're right. You're right. But how great was that Ohio State-Michigan game? And then the scene afterwards, on the field for like 50. Harbaugh's just like walking around aimlessly high-fiving people. It was like he was drunk at New Year's Eve. It was unbelievable. He was like
might
a
as
mummers
well have
parade.
And he might as well have been. I'm telling you, they're still partying. That's why I'm worried a little bit about this Iowa game. Can't you see like 14-10 at the half?
Yeah.
Just getting a little uncomfortable. Who knows? But
Yeah.
it's by far the signature win for Harbaugh. I was down on him. We all were. Michigan State doesn't get the same football recruits as Michigan. Consistently, they beat Michigan. He had never beat Ohio State. I wanted to give him credit for winning at Penn State, but we found out Penn State really wasn't that good. By the way,
Right.
10
Well, that's the
years
other
for
thing.
James Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh
What
my
were your thoughts
gosh.
on that? 10 years, what, $75 million, I think, right?
He's an Ashanti, PA guy, close to where I grew up. I want to root for him, but boy, does he make it hard. My God, he walks around like he invented the game. He's a great recruiter. He's a great recruiter, but what has he won? He never wins any big games with his X's and O's. You worry about
No.
I'm surprised Penn State went 10 years. Why? Because USC might try to get him. Let him go if USC takes him.
Right.
I don't understand why you had to keep James Franklin around. He's
what
not
is this
Dabo.
with
He's not
10
Nick
years?
Saban.
What is this for 10 years now with coaches?
10 years? Well, it's the agents. The agents drive that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, why?
Yeah, I know. It's like baseball now with these ridiculously long contracts. And nobody would be surprised if next year they start off 1-3 and all of a sudden, boy, was it a mistake giving 10 years to James Franklin? Oh my. But they probably have recruited well enough. They'll be able to avoid that. They'll probably be like Michigan light for a while. Beat all the teams. They'll beat Illinois. They'll beat Minnesota. They'll get Purdue. But when it comes to Ohio State, Michigan, now that Harbaugh might have them rolling, and Michigan State's probably in that same space, they're the games that Penn State loyalists want to win that I'm not sure James Franklin consistently is going to win.
Yep. I agree. They've only beaten Ohio State. 2016, I think it was, when he won the Big Ten.
Yeah, they did get him that 1 year in front of the whiteout, if memory serves, right? But
right. Yeah.
And
that whole whiteout thing.
Recruiter.
That whole whiteout thing is they're 500 at the whiteout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's run its course. It's getting a little old. Yeah. It's got a better reputation than it deserves. You know what's crazy, guys, is I never understood the whole Penn State home team. You know how many times I've been on Penn State's campus? Not once.
What?
Now, maybe that's my fault. I got to get my butt out there.
That's on you.
Penn State.
That's on you.
That is on me, especially in college. Although it might be better that I didn't go to their college back then.
Well, yeah.
But I guess the point is it's 3.5 hours away. I never really looked at it as the home field advantage, but
Barrett hates going up there. He's like one road in and one road out.
You might as well just pack a lunch, man. When you go up there, because after the game, just pack a lunch, man, because you're gonna be there for a long time, man. Trying to get out of there, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Well, I guess you got to tailgate all over again at that point, right? I mean,
well, you know what?
Get in line.
Well, I did get out of there pretty fast because I went up there on a recruiting visit to for Penn State, and I told him I didn't want to come. I told Coach Paterno I didn't want to go because he would let me play until my senior year, and that's the fastest I got out of there, man. I was out of there, and in fact, I had the meeting at 6:30 in the morning. I told him at 7 o'clock. By 12 o'clock, I was boarding the plane in Philadelphia, bro.
Wow,
that's how fast he got me out of there.
Well, plus you wanted to play basketball. You wanted to play basketball too. Would they have allowed you to play basketball?
No, he wasn't. No, but it was Penn State though. Penn State, I was out. I'd have definitely been like, all right, I'll think about this. But once he said I couldn't play until my senior year, he said, "Well, Brooksy, I like you. You're a good player, but you probably won't play till your senior year." I said, "Coach, well, what if I'm good enough?" We just don't do that around here. I said, "Coach, well, I can't stay to play with you." Well, that's fine, Coach. Well, good luck in your endeavors.
Wow.
And
at least they were honest with you, I guess.
Wow.
Could be worse.
The guy came and picked me up.
Would tell you they play.
Right. The guy, when it came pick me up, he said, well, Coach got you a flight out of here. I'm like, I can't stay. Oh, all right, cool. I grabbed myself and we were gone. We were at the airport. I was on a plane at 12 o'clock heading back to St. Louis.
Now, what do you think about Brent Venables or Matt Campbell to Oklahoma?
Venables would be great.
Oh, no, Oklahoma. I think Venables to Oklahoma might gain a little steam. But I'd be happy just if Kirk Herbstreit stops putting them out every 2 seconds. My God,
exactly.
I love Herbie. Jeez, it's too much. He's kind of become like the Mickey Andrews or the Bud Foster of today, the D coordinator that you don't know will be a great head coach. You can do worse than Venables for Oklahoma. I think that makes some sense. I don't know about Campbell. I was high on Campbell, but geez, he finally gets a lot of talent to Iowa State and builds them up to his credit. And then they lose 5-6 games this year.
Well, yeah. And then he said the goal was never to win the Big 12 championship. That wasn't one of his goals. Did you get that audio?
If they didn't win if they didn't win the championship last year, when will they?
Right.
Even when Oklahoma's out, even when Texas is out, they're not going to get the likes of Bryce Hall and Purdy and those guys. Now, I know they weren't great, especially Purdy this year, relative to expectation. But Iowa State, they're not going to get the same recruiting classes as the creme de la creme.
Right.
Well, Venables will do a nice job there. He was actually, I played with him. He's a Kansas State guy. I went to Kansas State. I played against him. He was I'm not going to say he was a horrible player. He was one of those guys who was smart, knew how to play the game, knew the play was supposed to happen. He just couldn't get to that play to make the play. Yeah. Right. So I knew he was going to be a coach. knew he was going to be a coach, man. But he's a great recruiter, man. He gets guys going. He's one of those rah-rah guys. He'll do good for Oklahoma if he did go in there.
You would just need to get a OC that's been through it before, right? A quasi-head coach, offensive coordinator. I could see Venables working at Oklahoma. I think Texas is going to be back at some point. They just care too much about football. I don't know when that point's coming.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma, listen, they're not going to beat Alabama every year. They're not going to beat LSU every year. I mean, Texas, I think, is the bigger brand still.
Yeah.
It's a defeatist attitude, but I do kind of understand, outside of the bigger paycheck, I do kind of understand why Lincoln Riley would leave. USC could dominate the Pac-12. I mean, you could beat Stanford, Cal. You could beat those Washington State, Colorado. You could beat them every year.
Right. And he already got that 5-star quarterback to flip from Oklahoma to USC. So, he's starting out. Now all he needs is a big left tackle. USC is always known for their big tackles. He needs a 5-star kid out of there. Probably won't have to drive, but about 2 hours away from the campus to go find one of them.
Right.
No, California, it's not Texas. It's not Florida. Maybe it's not Louisiana, but I mean, it's one of the top 3-4 states, I would think, just for size reasons.
Sure.
As far as recruiting is concerned. And USC, it's a fickle fan base. They could care less unless Notre Dame's there if they're not good. But once they're good, the celebrities show up. Here's Snoop Dogg on the sideline.
Will Ferrell.
That it team. Yeah. Will Ferrell be there. Right. Now they're the it team, and they'll get all the big recruits. He better with all the money they gave him, but you can't see that coming. Yeah, you can see that
no doubt. All right, last one before we go to the NBA. What do you think Temple ends up doing?
I was going to ask you that question. I have no idea.
I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I go back to Matt Rule's got a bunch of, young, good recruiters on his staff that was there at Temple. They went to Baylor with him, a lot of these guys. Then some of them went along to the Carolina Panthers. I just go there and see who could assemble the best staff, because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that would make some sense. Go to Rule route. He was so good there. I mean, I went to the Notre Dame Temple game.
Yep.
When
I did that
College
game
Day was there. Yeah, it was a great game. I saw on the sideline. I mean, bottom line is, I don't know if they get back there, but maybe that's the route you go, get that Rule disciple, because even though the ins and outs of what it is to be the head coach at Temple and the recruiting.
And that's a big deal. Like what you just said, the ins and outs at a place like that. It's really a guy that knows the landscape, I think, has a big leg up, because it's a different job than most of these college jobs.
Completely agree. I'm rooting for them. I hope they get the right guy. It's important they do that, because, they're going to get buried a little bit here with the AAC getting a little weaker, which I don't love.
Yep. All right, let's get to the NBA. Sixers Celtics tonight. But before that, like what the whole Ben Simmons saga, it's kind of been forgotten about for a large aspect because the Eagles were winning games until last weekend, and Embiid was out with COVID for an extended period of time. Sixers kind of fell out of favor. They lost a bunch of games. Do you think this Simmons thing, when do you think this gets done?
February, maybe? December
Deadline?
15th, I think. Yeah, the rumors will start after the 15th, because now guys who have recently signed are available. But looks like this is going to play out. I don't think he's getting what he wants as far as these offers are concerned. Now, at some point down more, he's going to have to be a little realistic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand why he's not taking some of these girls. Who wants Jeremy Grant? I mean, Hickey did a good job taking him in the second round. But how can you go from Sixers won James Harden, but also Jeremy Grant?
Right,
you want an historical great, but also a dude who's average.
Yeah.
I don't really know. So it'll probably play out till February. Then teams that are out of the mix will be a little bit more desperate to make some moves, might want to go young. I could see it. He'll trade him. I think ownership will lean on him to do so quietly. Yeah. But probably February, unfortunately.
Did you ever buy into that rumor? I think it was The Athletic put it out a couple of weeks ago about Jaylen Brown from Boston for Ben Simmons.
No, not really. I mean, listen, I think it's actually a fair deal. People are so down on Simmons. Simmons has more accomplishments than Jaylen Brown, and it's folks in Boston that were laughing at it. Mm-hmm. But because of what the backlash would be, I think that's one reason Brad Stevens might think twice about it. He's not typically a guy who has to worry about this sort of thing. It's weird that Brad Stevens is in the front office. I think it's actually a pretty fair deal, but the problem is, I guess, according to the reports, not only were they asking Jaylen Brown, but they were also asking a couple first-round picks, and that's if Darren Moore is going to go that route. Now, I did also see another report that said that Danny Green would go to Boston, And Danny Green, even though it looks like he's in pain when he runs, it's weird, is actually a very undervalued player. He can defend and he can shoot threes.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I actually thought it was a pretty fair deal. But
yeah,
I don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to expect when it comes to the Simmons trade. I hope they don't screw it up, man, because they got Embiid in his prime. And if they get a big-time return, who knows? I mean, no Kyrie in Brooklyn. Golden State's rolling, but that's the Western Conference. If they get the right deal, they can make a run.
Well, I don't know what the right deal is now. I mean, what is the right deal? What is his worth? I mean, that's I just don't know right now because nobody wants to deal with Ben Simmons, his extracurricular stuff, man. I mean, they see this. So because they see this, they're not going to make the decision to go with him. They'd rather not deal with this now. It's not like it used to be back in the day where, it used to be that, players could do and ask for what they wanted. You had to, bid to them now. It's not like that anymore. They'll just assume get you out there and get somebody who wants to play now, as opposed to, dealing with, superstar-ism, or whatever you would call it.
Well, they'll put up with the superstar if he's worth it, but unfortunately, Simmons' value is so down right now. I don't know if he's viewed as a superstar. There's still some general managers that are looking at a kid who's won Rookie of the Year, then always made an all-star team, made a third-team All-NBA. We're only a couple years removed from the nonsensical, whose team is it, Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid? Think about how dumb that sounds now.
Yeah, tell me.
So, there's still something to be said for the future of Ben Simmons. And I do believe general managers understand that. If you look at some of the advanced metrics, he looks good there because it, not going to point out what the film points out, the fact that he's afraid to shoot. Mm-hmm. I don't know. CJ McCollum in a pick or two, I would look at Fred Van Vliet if you could maybe get Van Vliet in another piece of Toronto. I don't know what the right move is.
Yeah.
I really
Halliburton from Sacramento.
Yeah.
Halliburton.
Yeah. I don't love De'Aaron Fox the way a lot of people do. Sacramento's a mess, but yeah, I mean, you got to get something back in return. But what that package looks like, guys, don't let anybody fool you. Nobody knows. We're all guessing right now. I mean, even the reports and the rumors have run cold. It does feel like we're kind of in a point now where nothing's going to happen. And then December 15th, maybe the rumor mill starts up again.
All the dots have been connected. Everybody's run out of places.
Yeah.
I just hope he ends up going to like an NBA Siberia location and the Sixers get back a decent player in return and a draft pick. Yeah, something like that. Pelicans, Timberwolves, Sacramento, the destinations. Yeah. Cleveland.
Yeah, the smaller market people don't care about. Pelicans, they're a mess. Memphis has Ja Morant, but Minnesota's got a little decent vibe to them right now because the town's back and D'Angelo Russell's having a big year. But you're right. That would be nice. Like, it would be painful had he gone to Golden State and he was part of this 18-2 run. We'd be all like, oh, my gosh,
Oh, my
So
God.
that would be tough to deal with. So the other one that would be interesting is, could you imagine, like, I threw out on Twitter, thanks to a colleague, just having fun with it. And I don't even know if I'd do it from a Sixer perspective. And that's what's funny because Knicks fans thought I was nuts for even suggesting it for the Knicks, but they're delusional. Randall, Kemba, couple picks, first rounders for Simmons because they want to go with their second. But the reason I thought it out there, could you imagine him having to come in with the Knicks multiple times a year? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that would increase that rivalry tenfold. That would be fun.
Oh, me too.
I don't know if I love that package. Kemba seems like he might be close to wash right now. Julius Randle's come back down to earth, but you get the idea.
A little bit. Yeah, no, I do. And that's why I love that Jaylen Brown thing, because having him come back in a Celtic uniform would be just unbelievable, too.
I doubt if he would even come back.
It would be load management.
It'd be a load management. Yeah, no question.
Like Andre Drummond did, ironically. Remember that when Cleveland, they just traded for him. They even said, because they didn't care about him, they were just using him for a half year before they got rid of him. They even said, we don't even know why he's not playing. Because basically he didn't want to play Embiid that night. He had the Embiid flu.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
all right, last one. Last one for Tom. Follow him on Twitter at #1 Tom Byrne. Listen to him on Mad Dog Sports Radio, NBA Radio, and Sirius XM. Who wins the national championship? Can somebody beat Georgia? Are they beatable?
They're beatable. Stenson Bennett, though, man, I don't know what you guys expected. I thought it'd be JT Daniels' show, everything I read, and Stenson Bennett's been awesome. So as long as he's even quasi-efficient, their defense looks like it's historically good. And we all keep waiting for Alabama to be Alabama. Bryce Young's great, but, I mean, they shouldn't be in a close game. There were 24 favorites against Auburn. If you're fading Bama on a weekly basis, you're up a lot of money right now. They just haven't been who they should be. They're a little like the Chiefs before their recent run.
Right.
You know it's there. You know they have the high ceiling, but can you trust them to get there? So, and by the way, if Georgia doesn't win this year, when the hell are they going to win?
That's
and I hope
that's
Kirby Smart does.
Yes.
And Kirby Smart better not blow this because the dude is so tight. 4th and 1, he can't wait to send the punting unit out there.
Right.
You've got to take some chances against Alabama. So
I
I'm
love
gonna say
it.
Georgia.
All right, there he is, Tom Byrne. We love him. Thanks so much for jumping on, man. Have a great holiday season.
Appreciate you, man.
You guys are the best. Anytime you need me. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks,
All
man.
right.
Thanks, bro.
All right, there he is. So we got to take a timeout, and then we got Aaron Beasley coming up on the other side. How about that? Ready,
go.
Barrett? Are
Yes,
you ready?
Sir. My God.
Back in 3.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fought. What's that? Huck and Fought. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Welcome back to the show. Final half hour of the middle here on a big Tuesday. Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays. And we now go to the guest line and bring on a man who joined us a few months ago on this show around the beginning of the football season. You can follow him on Twitter at KillaBees, at BEAS21. KillaBees. Aaron Beasley, welcome to the show, man. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How's everybody doing? Can y'all hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro. We good, man. Bees, what's up, man? What NFL player you just worked out just now, man? Who'd you have working out today?
Oh, I worked myself out. I'm making a comeback at 48. I'm lying. No, I just went in there. I went in there and did some drills. One of my cousins is working out. He actually played arena, and I think he's going to try for the I think he's going to try to get a tryout for the Stars when they play this year, USFL.
Oh, that's right. That's coming back this year. Mm-hmm. I'm actually looking forward to that, man.
That was some good football.
Hey, man, if you love the game, and if it's like standard football instead of some like wacky stuff that is off the field. It's
So
good.
he hate
Football's
me.
a great game.
Yeah, no. I don't need any of that he hate me type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I don't need cameras on the field, and I need just regular football, spring football, because there's a lot of talent. Some guys just don't make the league because there's so much talent up there. But like I tell a lot of people, you got to be a bad dude just to get a tryout in the NFL.
No question.
So imagine how many bad dudes that don't even get a chance to play, but they still have talent.
No question. Well, hey, as we go forward, man, you being a former Jet, you saw what the Eagles just did. They laid an egg this last game against the Giants. Where do you see the Eagles progress? As far as going back to the Meadowlands this week and playing against this Jet team, who just came off a win.
Well, I would say have caution just because their record. Playing the Jets, they're going to play hard. I mean, the coach, he's an energy guy. One of my former teammates is one of their coaches, and he's like, man, these guys love him. You know what I mean? So they'll go through a wall for this guy. And it's like one of those teams, they're both young, and what they saw from last week, they're ready. Like, they're not going to be like they're just the Jets. They're going to play man-to-man just like the Giants did and the rest of the NFL is going to do. And they're going to say, who can get off press and who can beat us? And quarterback better throw accurate passes.
Well, how about that? Yeah, you don't want to hear that. How about that, though, last week?
I'm just being real.
The Eagles lose the turnover battle 4-0 and still have a chance to win that game at the very end. How about that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking. I was at Kevin Johnson's place. Kevin Johnson and I were just talking about how, everything about the stats and all this. But really, for that percentage is so off. Like, it's like a 0% chance to win a game when that happens. So when you have that chance and that last play, man, you got to find a way. I've never seen that, like 4 turnovers and you still have a chance to win. I play Madden. If I get 4 turnovers in Madden, it's a wrap.
Well, hey, little quick question, man. What do you see in Wilson, man? He'll be starting against the Eagles this time. What do you see in him as a quarterback? Can he be that number 1 pick? Can he be that guy that they want? Is their number 1 pick this year? What do you see in him? Because me personally, I thought he was the 5th best quarterback in this last year's draft, and they drafted him the number 2 quarterback in this draft. What do you see in him?
I mean, he has the arm talent, but it's just one of those things, man. You know how it is. The more you play, the more we can see about you. I don't think he's played enough that we can really get a read on him because, I mean, a rookie going against Belichick, that's not good. I mean, so his one of his worst games was against Belichick, and we know how he does rookie quarterbacks. But I just think you got to get more. Just like Jalen Hurts, we got to get more. We got to see more because quarterback is not like college. I mean, these defensive coordinators are scientists. They're evil, mad scientists. And like, you got to think about even like a Peyton Manning, as great as he is, look how he struggled that first year and even look in the second year, but you're not going to know until year 3 or 4 what you have. That's what I think. I mean, because you got to go through some ups and downs and see how you come out of it. So I think that is a perfect test for Jalen Hurts this week. How will he come out of that and rebound? Then we'll know what kind of quarterback we have. I say we because I am an Eagles fan, but I have the Jets and the Falcons and the Jaguars. They pay me, so I love them too.
Right. Look, speaking of Jalen Hurts, I mean, you've now watched him play 12 games this year, 4 games last year. That's a full rookie season in essence. How much have you seen him grow as a quarterback, and what does he still need to do in your view to maybe lock this job down?
It's all about consistency and accuracy.
Right.
You could have a strong arm, or you might not have the strongest arm because Drew Brees didn't have the strongest arm, but he was very accurate. He knew where to go with it. And I think the one thing is it goes back to time. He's going to need more time, repetition before he can really read the defenses and see. because when sometimes you got to think these guys don't have a veteran presence in that meeting room, to actually show them how to watch this film and what they're looking for. We grew up in it. We had vets. Now it's like so much of this salary cap turnover that you're getting rid of the veterans and you're not even thinking about the leadership value that some of these guys have. And then you got young coaches who haven't really played, and you can't really draw off an experience because the coach by the playbook, and it's like you're not having teachers out there. So I just think time and repetition is going to be his best friend.
You know what? I didn't think about that. As far as a veteran presence being around Jalen right now. Because when you look at what they had before, you had somebody there that could really help them out as far. Because just like you said, I had guys like Riley McKenzie with me. Those guys helped me out. I had
Flacco's now in
McIntyre,
New York. Flacco,
and Flacco's he's gone now. So where does Jalen Hurts go for that? That ear to like, all right, hey man, this is happening here. How do I combat that? They don't have that in that locker room now. And
the coaching staff is so young too.
They don't have none of them played.
Exactly.
None of those guys played. I didn't think.
And that's across the NFL.
Yeah,
it's across the NFL. It's all these young coaches who are, most of them didn't even play football. If you look at a lot of these coaches, so there's really nothing to draw off of. I look at defensive back coaches. I'm like, what is he going to ask that coach that played? I think he played run. I'm just example. He played running back at Pop Warner. That was his last football.
Right. So now, how do you did that? I mean, I could go back. I can go back and say, hey, Coach Graham, who was one of the original Hogs. Hey, Coach Graham, they're running an MEB blitz over here. I can kind of see it, but if I do this and I tell somebody this, we could do that. Can we get that? Oh yeah, go this. But if this happens, you can do this. They don't have that to draw from. How did they get the experience? That you're absolutely right, man. I didn't even think of it from that aspect. That's huge. That's huge.
That is huge because it's almost like we hear the phrase, they got to be taught to be a pro. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a different game. This is serious up here. Like fractions of a second, inches are everything. You know how hard it is to get 1 yard.
Right? Exactly.
And like if I can't, especially like I always go back to my position. Like if I can go back to a coach that's been there, like yo, he's sending me here, but then you got a guy that's like, I don't know what. So where do you draw from? If your coach has never been a corner, how can you rely on a cornerback coach?
That's tough.
True. Yeah.
If your coach has never played O-line, how can he be your O-line coach? If he's never played, if he's coaching because somebody told him how to coach, he's still not drawing off experience.
Right. To what extent do you think the Jets can lean on Flacco, who spent a while here, not very long, but enough where he got start to know the the plays and the personnel and all that? How much do you think they're tapping into him this week to gain some sort of advantage?
Oh, spy versus spy. Remember? Spy versus spy, Mad Magazine. No, they're getting everything. I mean, formations, they get everything. I mean, you know how it is? Sometimes in the division, we used to pick up a guy from the other team, scout team, just to get some information. He cut next week.
And then he's cut, yeah.
We see that all the time.
But it's like any information you can get. And then, Flacco's a smart guy, so I know he knows everything. And they're going to get keys. And that defense, he's in that defensive room explaining some of the audibles. And we had that before when the quarterback would come in there and explain stuff for us. Like, this is what they see. 3x1, this is their key. And 2x2, this is what they're looking at. So he's giving them everything.
Wow, I didn't even think about that either, man. That's also a tough. What we've been killing, this young guy, man, Jalen Reagor, over the this week, simply because two passes hit his hands. They should have been catches. Would have put us in front to win the game. He's dropped both passes, and and we're up in arms right now. What do you think, and which direction do you think this Eagles team is going to go with Jalen this week, especially with them coming off a bad week? You think they're going to throw him back out there you know, and force feed him, or you know, how do you think they're going to handle this situation now that, you know, he's almost like, you know, shunned in Philadelphia's force him being on the field?
Oh man, I feel bad for him because just the amount of pressure on him. I mean, he's a young kid in a city like this. We've been through it, you know. We had a guy a couple years ago like that, you know. I feel like you have to play him. We don't have much else, first of all.
Right.
And then he's a first round pick. You ain't cutting the first round pick. I mean, that guy, he's just gonna have to show up and put it on his own shoulders. Block the rest of the world out, get off Twitter, get off Facebook, get off everything, and just focus. Get in there, do extra work. I mean, the only thing in this game is all about confidence. It's all about his confidence. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people think about him. He has to believe in himself. And I mean, that's the only thing I can think about. We can't do it. He has to just go ball.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
He goes out there and ball. If he goes out there and balls, we'll forget about it. If we make the playoffs, we'll forget about it. He got to do something. That's all. Hey, I've been there. Hey, my position is the hardest. So, you know, I got beat, and you hear the chatter, and you feel bad, but, like, there's nothing you can do but, like, flip that switch. I mean, you can't just listen. You got to keep going.
Yeah, I remember having to meet, bro.
Hey, especially you play tackle. You don't want to hear your name as left tackle. Oh, Barrett Brooks is back there, black.
Yep.
Bro, I've had it happen, man. And then, you know, what's bad, man, that, you know, after that bad game, I come back in. We're playing against Raiders. You know, I gave a sack and a half to Pat Swilling. So I come back and all I hear is sweet swill. I come back, you know, we get back home, and, you know, come Tuesday, I come in to work out on Tuesday, and I look over. They're working out 3 left tackles. I'm like, golly, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
they working out 3 guys to replace me. So
serious.
That's tough, man. It's tough, man. So I understand.
And you know how it is. There's nothing or no one that can help you. You just gotta go ball. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Yep. I think one thing that helped me. So I wasn't a fast guy. I only ran a 4.640, and I was out there covering 4.2 guys. So if I miss, it's a wrap. So my thing was, you play hard, you play angry, you play fast, and you just every play you just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And just stack plays, get 100% grade every play, and you just think one play at a time like that. Then you don't think about the game. So maybe that's what I could be a sports psychologist if he hollers at me.
Hey, Aaron, if had the Eagles won last week, we'd still might be talking more about playoffs and even the division, because the Dallas Cowboys have fallen on hard times these last couple of weeks, lost a couple of games in a row. Zeke doesn't look like the same Zeke. Dak has been off because he's, you know, a couple of those receivers were out due to COVID and injuries. What are you seeing from the Dallas Cowboys? They play Thursday night against the Saints.
I mean, just like everyone else, the injuries. I mean, it's who's the survival of the fittest at the end of the season, you know. Yeah. And I just think, you know, once we get to this December, that's when you really count everything. You know, you're kind of like, it's almost like one of those stock car races. You know, you find your position, but you know, I think there's tiers this year. You know, there's like the 2 or 3 teams right now that we can say Tampa, the Green Bay, and the Arizona. That's one tier. And then you got the Dallas. You know, I feel like there's a bunch of tiers where there's not one clear-cut team. But I think Dallas is in that second tier. Right. They can be beat. You know, it's like we didn't play our game that first time, but they can be beat, and that's shown. You know, you slow that game down or speed the game up, you run it, you run that clock down, and you don't let that offense get on the field, and they're not so hot. They're a big rhythm team. So a team like that, you keep Dak on that bench, you can win that game. Because they're not, if they don't score a lot of points, anybody can beat them.
That's exactly what I keep telling people. You know, I mean, everybody's talking about Dallas this, Dallas that. You run the ball, that's the best defense against their offenses, to keep them off the field, win the time of possession. And plus, you know, we're a lot better up front. We didn't use them last week on Sunday the way we should have. We didn't start using them until the third quarter, and you saw the dividends we had, received in the third quarter. At this point, we got to get back to what we do best, the identity we have, running the ball. I don't want to be fancy. I don't want to be this new up and just run the rock consistently. And I think that's going to help this team. It's going to help Jalen also, because now the pressure is not being put on him like it was put on last week, man. It was too much pressure on him again. And they asked him to do something that they were asking him to do before, and it didn't really work as well as it should have. So why go back to it again? Let's just run the rock and, do what we do, man. That's the biggest thing.
Hey, because when we played, man, it was black and blue. Because I was talking to Kev, and it was like we were in that. You was there, the AFC Central, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. Boy, you think about it, we was running that ball. There was short games.
Yeah,
there was no passing. It was run the ball, great defenses. Man, we played Baltimore. And they had been on a streak of 5 straight wins where they didn't score a touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
Think
I
about
remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
that was back in the Jamal Lewis era.
Yep.
It's still that game. We can do all this fancy stuff, but you got to run the ball because these defenses nowadays can't stop offenses.
Yeah.
So you got to find your niche. I feel like now we found the niche and then we went away from it. We were scoring. The team wasn't scoring much either. It was like a fast game, because even this game went fast. This game was like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I mean, it was so short because it was so much running.
Right.
But I feel like just sticking to the game plan, keeping it basic, and just doing what we do, because it really helped our defense. That's what I think it helped the most. Because now, when
huge.
I mean, cause teams couldn't run against them either. So if we can run and they can't run against us, I would say the team that's going to run is going to win most times.
No question.
You talk about those Ravens.
Think about a pass. On a pass. On a pass, there's only one good thing that can happen for the offense, and the other two are bad.
Right.
Incomplete or interception or completion.
You talk about those old Ravens teams, Barrett and Aaron. That was the Trent Dilfer, Tony Banks led team. Remember Tony Banks did a couple of games for them at quarterback?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jamal Lewis was the running back.
Absolutely. And that back then, the Eagles, the Eagles ran the ball consistently back then too, because they had Westbrook, they had Deuce back then. I mean, it was just, that's what you did, man. You ran the ball, man.
Buckholder,
Deuce, man.
Yep.
Buckholder too. So it wins, man. They think everybody wants these new coordinators who want to throw the ball around. There's nothing more tried and true in winning a Super Bowl than with a great defense and running the rock. That equation is one. There's been very few teams that have passed the ball into a championship, passed the ball into winning a Super Bowl. It's few and far between of those guys that have done that.
Yeah.
More so running the ball consistently and great defense wins championships.
Hey, Aaron, I know you're a big college football fan too. You're West Virginia Mountaineers, 6-6. Will end up going to some bowl. But what is your take on all this craziness that we've seen with the coaches moving in these last couple of days?
They got to change that rule. I know it's different for college because they got to recruit and all that, but Notre Dame still has a chance to make the playoff and right? Like,
I know.
It's funny. It's like these guys talk about winning, but when that money comes up, they don't care about winning, do they? I want to win that money.
And that's exactly what it is, man.
The win is the big bag.
That's right.
It's a real possibility.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, it's a real possibility that that Fickle could possibly get the Notre Dame job and then coach against his Cincinnati team that, Cincinnati Bearcats that might get into the playoffs, what I mean? Or Notre Dame gets in the playoff. I mean, that could actually happen. That'd be the weirdest thing ever if that happened.
It's crazy.
Yeah. We appreciate a couple minutes,
crazy,
Aaron, man. Enjoy the football the rest of
it's
the way.
no problem,
and
man.
Have a great holiday season, man.
Anything for
Thanks
my
a lot,
shooting
bro.
guard. That's my shooting guard. hey,
we got to get on the court again, man.
he was the shooting guard. I was the center.
Something doesn't seem right about that.
Yeah, right.
Think about that lineup.
Yeah.
Think about that lineup. Barrett's the shooting guard. I'm the center.
Man, my brain just got twisted up now.
Oh, because he can jump out the gym. That's what it is.
Yeah, right. Thanks so much, man.
All right, bro. Have a good one, man.
All right, guys. Have a great one, man.
Aaron Beasley. He's a lot of fun to talk to, man. Now, was that true? He was the center, and you were the shooter?
He would jump ball.
Yeah.
He never got tired. He still never gets tired, man. He can run up and down the court. The reason I was playing shooting guard, because I wasn't going, but I get to the three-point line on each side. That's as far as I was going. I wouldn't make it all the way down up under the basket. That's what it was. He was more conditioned than I was.
Is that right?
Man, he's a good dude, though, man. A really good dude, man. You know, he's always got that excitement, and that energy, enthusiasm, man. He's just a good dude, man.
All right, I'm looking back here on the stream. There was a question for you.
What's that?
A while back from Shizzo Flex. And I'm trying to decipher this. Barrett, Eagles question here. How can you build around a QB when you go down big in a game and you're not confident he can throw you back into the game? I think that's what he's trying to say.
Well, you know, I really think that, you know, if you put when you put him in a good situation where he's ran the ball and off play action, he can push the ball down the field. I think he can have some success. But, you know, it's just not every quarterback is like a Tom Brady. You know, that you're going to get the effects of him having a great game, you know, once you're down. I mean, there's not a lot of quarterbacks that can do that, period. Like even right now, you know, I see, you know, teams like, you know, like the Steelers.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger can't throw his guys back into the game.
Well, even Russell Wilson couldn't do it Monday night against Washington.
Exactly. So, you know, I think situational football is just hard to do it, especially with the way people play defense now. They play coverage and allow those guys to really create pass rush on the outside. That's why you have, you know, that's why these guys are getting paid so much money to pay, you know, to rush the passer. So it's not really necessarily your quarterback can't put you in that position or win a game for you. It's just defenses are so good right now that it's hard to really go out there and make a play if you don't have, number one, have big time wide receivers. You know, not everybody has, you know, with A-Rod has up there, you know, with his guy. Not everybody had a Michael Lewis with Drew Brees. You know, those are all guys that fit well. With Jenkins, you know.
Right.
Not everybody has those type of players that could, you know, have that tandem that they can always get open. Tom Brady has guys that can get open. You know, he can always go to Gronk or AB. We don't necessarily have that guy. We're starting to get one in Dallas Goedert when we use him. We're starting to get that in Smith when he uses them. But the better those guys are, the better our young quarterback will be. And when you have a defense that's going to, you know, cover those two main targets, somebody else has to step up. And it's not necessarily Jalen. Like, I can't take anything away from the two balls that Jalen threw. They were interceptions because he tried to throw and he threw us a double coverage. Those were bad decisions. But we need other guys to step up. You know, he was going to his third target then, his third progression in the read, you know, when he threw up those passes. And, you know, the first two targets, they got to get open. They got to make a play, and they didn't. So, you know, Jalen has a lot of work to do. And also his receivers have a lot of work to do in order to be open, and he can deliver the ball to them.
All right, a lot of action on the stream regarding the mustache. People telling me to keep it. And I'm thinking that they may have a point because there's other stuff on the stream about maybe Jalen Hurts doesn't play this week. And you know who would play is Minshew.
Yeah.
So I think in light of the fact that Minshew may play, we're not making any statement because we don't know. Hopefully Jalen Hurts' ankle is fine. Right. But if he doesn't, Minshew would play. And I can't shave this on the week that mustache Minshew may play.
Well, if you got to keep it then, because he might need that force, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you think it could be sort of like a positive vibe kind of thing.
Absolutely.
All right.
It couldn't do anything but help us. It would help us if you did that.
All right. Well, then
sometimes you gotta take it on. You gotta take it on the stash, man, and keep it, man. Not take it on the chin, but keep it on the stash, man. Just support our team, man.
All right, because I know few men can pull this off. What I'm trying to do here. All right. This
very
few men. All right. A few good men.
Only Dr. Rick probably could pull it off, but
he has one.
You and Dr. Rick.
He has one in the commercial, doesn't
he? Yep.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff today. Thanks to Tom Byrne and Aaron Beasley for joining. Thanks to everybody for watching it. Smash that like button, and don't forget Cilio coming
the show
up today.
Is over, man.
Yeah, it's over, man. What do you want to do more? Go ahead. I gotta eat it's time for lunch. I gotta eat lunch. Appreciate you. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Stay tuned for Cilio at 4, and of course, Birds 365 tomorrow, right here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. See you.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
As a hard-working American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fought. What's that? Huck and Fought. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.